One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970, The Answer.
Big business. Okay, I give up, Alex. What's that?
All right, this is Big Business by Chris Me Mass.
Big business. Looks
I
like
love the vocal on
politicians
this.
are looking to go after big business, Alex. In many circles, the idea of taxing the rich has always been a sexy one. It's a slogan made for protest signs, campaign buttons, or on-screen graphics. And it's attractive because it offers notions of supposed fairness, simple justice, and painless revenue. And in a nation where disparities have increased and confidence in our institutions has diminished, this approach, taxing the rich, represents an attempt to restore balance to a system that's seen as favoring those with lots of cash. But slogans, my friends, are not strategies. And tax the rich, as it's been used in states like California, New York, and Illinois, reveals, in my opinion, a deeper problem. The people being targeted, Mert, are the most mobile, they're the most financially sophisticated, and they're the least dependent on any one place. In other words, they can always leave, and increasingly they do. I mean, we'll talk about California in a few minutes, but they're leaving California. This is not a moral argument that I'm making. It's a mechanical one. A tax system is a machine. You pull one lever, another moves. If you tighten one screw, another loosens. And if you design a machine that assumes your highest earning residents will simply stay put and pay whatever you ask, you are building a machine that will eventually bust. The tax the rich system is not failing because its goals are unpopular. It's failing because its implementation collides with the realities of mobility, the incentives offered by other states and other countries, and the structures of our system of government. Do you believe in taxing the rich, Mert?
Well, you know, I'm kind of conflicted on this because while I'm not rich, I am, you know, my intelligence is in abundance. So you could say I'm rich when it comes to intelligence. So I know how it feels to have people coming at you for how smart you are because, you know, as the trivia champion, I was attacked by 3 people, maybe even 4, who are jealous, who are envious of my abundance of intelligence. And I don't think it's fair that I was, you know, jumped, attacked, and cheated. And I could see how people who are paying taxes could feel.
And you were being rebellious because that is not exactly what happened. Alex, is he being rebellious? I need you to
wait a minute.
That is not what happened. And we have the 2 people in the room that did this. Ashley, did we cheat him or no?
No, he's being a sore loser.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Tell him to grow. Would you tell him to grow up?
What did you say? Grow up? Yes, grow up.
Yeah, tell him to grow up.
We're supposed to be talking about taxes here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I know, but you're bringing up this game show. That's right. Thank you, Ashley. You're bringing up this game show that you lost.
Hold on.
It was an embarrassing loss, by the way.
Taxes, listen.
Just for those who are listening, Ashley and Alex whooped his you-know-what.
Fair and square.
That's why he's
we whipped his donkey.
Oh,
you see?
My goodness.
You see this?
I don't think we're allowed to talk about donkeys on
Why
air.
not?
Listen.
I didn't say anything else.
And listen, this is what they do to rich people. I feel like a rich person. They attack people for being rich. They attack people for being smart. I'm smart. Now they want to call me a donkey.
Tax the Mert. That's what I say then. Tax the Mert.
He don't have money. We can't tax him.
But they're trying to take my title away from me as a form of tax. But it's not going to work. So I think the same applies to the wealthy tax. Wealthy people will just find a loophole, a way around it, and they always do. So trying to go after the wealthy, it sounds like it's a good technique, but oftentimes it ends up backfiring because they take their money other places and they end up drawing more from the people to pay for things. Or let's just say this, things don't get paid for to begin with. So you see old towns who used to be thriving and all the rich people leave, and all of a sudden everything crumbles. They're talking about what's going to happen when these Google guys leave California and how much tax money, tax revenue they're going to take with them when they leave. But the tax, the laws and all that stuff are forcing them out. So you have to...
the laws that have been threatened about this wealth tax, right? So in California, Mert, just for your information and for our listeners, the top 1% of the population, the top 1%, pay roughly half of all income taxes, while the top 1/10 of 1%, that's 0.1%, Mert, pay more than the bottom 80% combined. Right. So California is dependent on the uber rich. And what they are doing stupidly, in my humble opinion, is alienating them. And when people don't like the game that's being played, they take their stuff and they leave.
Yeah, like he left to go to Davos this week, the governor himself. So,
well, I don't want to talk about Newsom, please. That guy, I don't know. Let's not go off on a tangent. But Alex, taxing the rich, you think it's a strategy? Makes people feel good. Mamdani loves it, right? More corporate taxes, let the wealthy pay more. But you know what? The wealthy's most of the wealthy are not just going to sit there and take it. Alex?
Absolutely. Now, the other thing I would say is, I think we can't have that message, because when we have the rich leave these states, we see how much money we're actually losing. And so, as a leader, I think it's irresponsible for someone like Mamdani or Governor Hochul to get behind that movement when really they're telling the most important people who invest in our state to leave. That's not the message you want to send to our billionaires in New York. It's wrong. Now, I know Ashley's jumping for the mic here, but I have to say, I think that Hochul getting behind it, AOC, Mamdani, it's the wrong message to send. Aren't we trying to still come back from the pandemic losses? I mean, come on now.
That Trump caused. Yep, I agree.
No, please, Trump caused.
You're saying more investment, so why wouldn't we tax if you want them to invest more? Like you're saying they're investing, why not? So it can go into
because if you tax them more, they're going to not want to invest in us anymore. That's the
why
point.
not? It's going to go to a good cause if you want to put more into the state you love.
And no, it'll make them flee. And as Lucas points out, they're flying all over out of California, and even the stock exchange is going to start shop in Dallas this upcoming month.
Right,
maybe
because when you start talking about raising corporate taxes, companies are not going to stay. And that's what the stock exchange is threatening to move. And a lot of companies are threatening to move. Whether they actually do, we'll see. But I think that it could have very severe consequences. According to media reports, at least 6 billionaires have already left California. That's according to Bloomberg. And up to 8 according to CNBC. So there have been up to 8, according to various news reports, with financial advisors warning that a dozen more may follow if the wealth tax ballot advances. So who's going to be left? Look.
Well, let me say this.
Yes.
When these rich...
sorry?
When these rich people leave, what we underestimate is they can't take the brain power that they're leaving behind. So oftentimes they go somewhere for a couple weeks, in theory a year or two, and then they realize, we got to go back. We got to go back because that's where all the Ivy League institutions are. That's where all the brain power is. That's why nobody wants to really leave from New York, because the top of the top resides in New York when it comes to education, finance, technology, all that stuff. You can find it in abundance in New York. You try to move other places until the rest of the country joins in and start fleeing to these places for these tax benefits that a lot of them it really don't make a difference to them in the first place. So the people are going to are going to need more of an incentive to follow these billionaires wherever they decide to go.
So they'll pay them more. Look, Peter Thiel.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
He's the co-founder of PayPal. He's also the first investor in Facebook. Okay, and he turned $500,000 into $1 billion investment. This guy's the founder of Palantir Technologies, which is a major data analytics contractor. He has moved to Miami, Florida, and shifted his company's operations to Miami, Florida. They are taking their company, their people, to other states, Bert. Here's another one. Let me just give you one more. David Sachs. He's famous for being the chief operating officer of PayPal. He's the founder of Yammer, Yammer, which he sold to Microsoft for $1.2 billion. He's a venture capitalist and partner at Graft Ventures. He has a co-host, very influential Silicon Valley. He relocated to Texas, announcing new office locations in Texas. So they're moving, and they're taking they're taking
you would think, you would think what you just told me there would sway me, but I see right through that. Because where did these companies start? So when the next Palantir, however you pronounce it, when the next company is started up and it starts to thrive, guess where it will originate from? The places that these companies are moving from. See, it's not going to start up in Miami, because if Miami was this hotbed of technology and advancement, it would already been there to begin with. No, we know where the hotbed is. It's in these major places where there's a lot of taxes. Oh, wow. But there's so much money being floating around. It should be a lot of tax being paid out, because you're not paying the people more. So what are you doing with all this money that you're generating? You're putting it into the stock market instead of into people's pockets. So we got to tax you, and we got to take this money so that we can keep this city up and running, because you're not going to pay your people more, and you're going to try to hoard your money. So, but that's another point. The main deal is this. You give me all these examples of people moving to Texas and Miami, but I'll tell you, if you put your money into which actual locations in this country will produce the next technological advances, you're going to go to the Northeast, to California. You're not going to go to Miami. You're not going to go to Miami.
The people are saying Hollywood is dying. People are taking their business elsewhere. I think the same is going to happen with the tech business.
Is Silicon Valley dying? No, I don't think it is. Silicon Valley is still thriving.
But they may kill the pooch if they're going to tax the you-know-what out of them. By the way, if you ask me, you know what the real problem here, Mert, is? It's government waste. The excess spending. It's the fraud. No, seriously. It's the billions and billions of dollars that are lost. And, of course, Minnesota is the prime example. At this point, many claim Minnesota isn't running a government. It's running a charity for fraudsters. Okay? So, and you would think, after all the hoopla that we've heard over the last several weeks about feeding our future and all the other Somali scammers who've stolen many, I don't know, they're estimating that the losses for fraud can be as much as $9 billion. That's with a B. Billions of dollars that taxpayers will never see again, because the state apparently thought oversight was a type of Scandinavian furniture. Come on, Mert. I don't think I don't think it's about taxing the wealthy. You don't have to do it. I think you just have to watch the waste. And with each passing day, we're hearing about more fraud in all states, all across the union. Alex, what do you think? Isn't it waste? Isn't it spending? Isn't it the profligate spending that's the problem?
Absolutely. And, in Minnesota, I know there's a lot going on out there, but the bottom line is the leadership has to face accountability. Now, do I agree with the DOJ, investigating these guys? I don't know, but I do know something has to be done. I mean, I think Walz knew about it. I think Fry knew about it. And as far as spending goes, we are still, feel like still doling it out and not saving as much. And by the way, on this whole topic, remember we used to be afraid of the offshore folks taking their business offshore to avoid the taxes here. Now we have to worry about them being out of our state. It's really changed over the last 10 years.
Well, listen, I understand your concerns, Alex, but it's overblown. Because let me tell you why. In America, we have all the talent. They're not going to take their money offshores. Well, they're not going to take their companies offshores. They might take their personal bank accounts offshores, but eventually it's going to come back because it's going to have to recirculate in America because they want to buy stuff in America. Eventually they want to spend their money in America. So I'm not concerned with that. What I'm concerned with is the topic that Lucas is actually trying to make everybody get terrified about. Well, what about all the billionaires moving and leaving and all this stuff? That just creates opportunity for the next billionaire. You take your money and leave, and a new billionaire can emerge, because if you're in New York and you're in Silicon Valley and you got a great idea, guess what you're going to have around you? Infrastructure to do whatever you need to do to take your idea to that billionaire level. You can't do that anywhere else in this country. So that's the main thing. The infrastructure in these places are great because of the tax revenue that we generate and that we take from these billionaires, and the playing field. So there's nothing to be concerned about.
Bert doesn't want to talk about the waste of the fraud. So you're okay with the billions in waste and the fraud, and let's continue to tax. Look, the surveys, my friends, unfortunately, the majority of Americans, about 65%, according to one survey by YouGov, said that the wealthy pay too little in taxes.
I agree.
Only 8% say they pay too much, and more than half of Americans, 52%, say they personally pay more in taxes than they did 10 years ago. It tells you that people aren't just reacting to this ideology, they're reacting to it in very serious ways. But my friends, not only, though, are they expressing support for raising taxes on wealthy, Americans are showing declining trust in government, and that's my point. They go hand in hand. We want fairness, but they worry about waste. They want accountability, but they doubt the system can deliver it. And that, I think, is a sad state of affairs. Don't you agree, Mert?
Well, no, because I don't even see how you made that connection. If people aren't saying, we want accountability and we want to tax the rich. No, those two don't usually go hand in hand. I think you're trying to be very slick and very creative like you always are. And that's probably why you are so rich, because you come up with all these creative ideas to try to sway the people. But I'm not going to let you do that.
I'm rich by the good people that I surround myself with, like the wonderful Ashley Ferrante. Ashley, are you going to save me from Mert the Mertinator?
Of course, Lucas, I will save you.
Because he's delusional. He thinks it's okay to just tax and spend.
He's going to stick a little chihuahua on me or something like that.
Oh, chihuahua.
Wow.
I was about to defend you, too. Never mind. Bye.
Oh, my God. That was so nasty.
That was terrible.
You got like 5 dogs, right? You got all these pets.
Oh, my goodness. So you tax the rich appears to raise a deeper question, my friends.
Tax Ashley. That's what we need to tax. Tax Ashley. She got all the money.
What's the purpose of taxation?
Already in debt, so you can't really tax.
Oh, my goodness. Is taxation meant to fund government or to punish inequality? These are not the same goals. If the goal is revenue, the strategy fails because the wealth will leave. If the goal is fairness, the system, it's symbolic. Wealth taxes rarely reduce inequality. They often reduce investment, reduce growth, and reduce opportunity, and that's the danger. Talking about opportunity, welcome to episode 81 of Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas Live. This is Lucas Ferrara. You've heard from the great Mertinator, Bert Roberts. You heard from Ashley Ferrante and our engineer and producer, Alex Garrett, who has a great podcast, One Leg Up with Alex Garrett. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dana Micucci, an award-winning author, spiritual teacher, and healer, whose latest book, The Years of Living Dangerously, chronicles her transformative journey through sacred sites and powerful personal breakthroughs. Me, Mert, Alex, all of us at AM 970 will return after these messages. Stick around. When we come back, Dana will show us how ancient teachings and practical wisdom can actually help you find clarity, purpose, and a steadier way forward in a world that refuses to slow down. Bye.
Over the
last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
We can tell you about the incredible success we bring to local businesses, but it's better when it comes directly from our satisfied clients. Here's just one example.
After searching for a new vendor to handle my search marketing campaign, I contacted Salem Surround after seeing the great work they did for another restoration company in the different market. Their team of experts recommended a mix of multiple tactics designed to get my business the most quality leads at the lowest cost, making my marketing budget stretch further. In our first year partnering with Salem Surround, we recorded our best year to date, and I've told many people how blessed I was to find them. The representative answered the phone every time I called and quickly addressed any questions or concerns I had.
Let Salem Surround give you an absolutely free audit of your current marketing and show you what your competition is doing. Then, we come up with a personalized plan that's perfect for your needs. Google Salem Surround New York and let our marketing experts help you achieve real success. Remember to Google Salem Surround New York today.
Salem News Channel, your go-to source for news and conservative opinion. We reveal how politics hits home, how your family, your freedoms, your way of life are debated, challenged, even regulated. Every day we cut through the noise, pitting nonsense against common sense. On every screen, in every home, Salem News Channel is across America.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, hoping you'll join me on the unforgettable Gulf of America cruise happening in November of 2026. Imagine this: turquoise waters, white sand beaches, incredible food, insightful conversations about the future of America. Scott Jennings and I will be your hosts. We'll dive into the issues shaping America as we cruise through some of the most stunning destinations while honoring the 250th anniversary of our nation. Book your cabin today. Text the word cruise to 94878. Text cruise to 94878 or visit mikeonline.com.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970. Great. The Answer.
Welcome. We are pleased to welcome Dana Micucci. She's an award-winning author, spiritual teacher, speaker, and healer whose work bridges ancient wisdom and contemporary transformation. Her newest memoir, The Years of Living Dangerously, follows her personal growth as she travels to sacred places, faces major challenges, and experiences deep inner shifts. She shares practical guidance and steady, down-to-earth tools to help readers navigate the intense changes happening in the world today. She's a longtime journalist. She's written on culture, travel, and spirituality for the New York Times, International Herald Tribune, Chicago Tribune, and a bunch of other leading publications. She's also a dynamic speaker and practitioner of ancient mystery school teachings. Dana leads transformational workshops, talks, and sacred journeys around the world. Based in Taos, New Mexico, after many years in New York City, she continues to travel widely in service to New Earth consciousness, and her journey continues here on Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas live. Welcome to the program.
Now wait a minute, Lucas. You had an intro set up first, so let me play that for her to lead her in. This is Rebel Spirit by Alana Jordan.
Oh, so now you play it.
Now I got it, cute.
Now I guess we all need to be rebel spirits in some respects, Alex. But let's ask Dana. Hey, Dana, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Is this Lucas?
Yes, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you, Lucas. It's so nice to meet you after our email exchanges. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
And thanks for agreeing to come on. Now be careful, because the Murdenator, Mert Roberts, is listening.
Well, wait a minute.
He's in a grouchy mood, Dana.
Don't poison the well. I'm a nice guy, so you ain't got nothing to worry about with me.
Now, let me ask you.
Hello, Mert. Yeah.
What was the spark that pushed you to write Years of Living Dangerously? Was there a single moment when you knew this story had to be told?
Yes, I felt an urgency, Lucas. This is basically chronicling, oh my goodness, I would say probably about 12 to 13 years of my recent lifetime. And I did feel an urgency. It wasn't necessarily one moment, but as I began to take groups around the world to sacred sites on what I call light missions or assignments, where, we were anchoring light into the planetary grid, assisting with personal, of course, and planetary healing. And I went all over the world, and the experiences were so profound. I had so many miracles, really. We all did in the group, and lots of tests and trials, Lucas, especially. And I felt that I needed to share that, to give others hope, to give, especially those who are doing similar work, but anyone who is aligned with the light in these very intense, don't we say, turbulent and transformational times.
Well, Dana, let me ask you a question, because I don't know.
It's the Murdenator. Here we go.
I don't know if I would be considered somebody who's aligned with the light. So can you explain it?
He's not. He's not aligned with the light at all.
Can you explain what you actually meant by all these retreats and stuff? Like, what are the purpose of this? What type of people? Because this stuff usually sounds like stuff rich people do.
See, do you feel the negative energy? Do you feel it?
No. I'm just doing my reporting. I'm just being a good investigative journalist. I just want to find out what's actually going on.
Yes. No, that's a really great question, Mert. And no, it's not just for rich people. It's for anyone who really feels the call to assist others in personal growth, in inner transformation, in spiritual expansion. And so it could be anyone from any walk of life, really. And I began doing these retreats, or some people call them sacred journeys, in 2014, and this includes the United States and all over the world, to very powerful places like Egypt, the temples of what I called light and transformation in Egypt, the Great Pyramid, the Holy Land.
Dana, I could feel the energy when I went to Cairo. So you're touching on something that I have personally experienced. It's just amazing. And if you've never been, if our listeners have never been, Cairo, Egypt is just incredible. So keep going, Dana, keep going. I'm getting chills.
Yes. And exactly. And, a lot of the ancient mystery school initiates, there were mystery schools in ancient times, and there are still some today where they taught a lot of the esoteric wisdom of the ages.
What does that mean, Dana?
Wisdom.
What does this mean? Because this is like a foreign language to somebody like me.
Yeah, the mystery.
Yes. Esoteric means like hidden mysteries, Mert, like the hidden wisdom that has been hidden from us, right? This is all about, if I could just put it just really directly, it's all about self-empowerment. Right. About people taking their power back, knowing that they are spiritual beings who are powerful beyond measure, who have direct access to their own inner divinity in alignment with God, Spirit, the Creator, whatever word people want to use.
So
now, this is all-encompassing.
Right. So when we look into your personal background, what is something that you felt like you had to take your power back from? Because, when we get people on who talk about, inspiration and, going on journeys and stuff, they usually, had a problem with drugs or domestic violence, or, they weren't the most confident. They had a a troubled upbringing. Is there anything in your past that put you on the pathway to where you are today?
That's a very good question. Fortunately, no, I didn't have a troubled upbringing. I didn't go down the path of drugs and alcohol, and, my heart goes out to people who take those initiations. I feel that this was a very, very ancient experience for me, that, this was wired into me, Lucas, if people believe in other incarnations or past lifetimes, that they've been here before, if they have any deja vu moments, it's like, wow, this is so familiar when you're in Egypt, for example, or the Holy Land, or Machu Picchu in Peru. It's almost like I'm continuing work that I have done in service, right, from a long, long time ago, from the ancient times. And so there was always this inner urgency in me. And yes, I've had a lot of trials and tribulations like everyone else. I've often lived on the edge, for example, as a quote creative in New York City, never knowing where my next paycheck was coming from. I was just sharing with my husband tonight when I had an aha moment, like, wait a minute, I have the power to take my life back. If I don't like something that's happening in my life, or if this is not the experience I want, then I have the power to change it. And
what are you taking it back from, though? What are you taking it back from? Just in terms of sometimes people feel like, that they can't make a change, let's say, or that they're assigned or consigned to a particular path in life, and that might not be what they want to be doing. They might have a job that they don't like, and they want to do something that's more fulfilling for them. So taking your power back in terms of making choices and knowing that you are infinitely supported no matter what, that we're always guided and supported by what I call a higher guiding force that is always conspiring on our behalf. Spirit, God, the Creator.
Now, in your book title, though, I think what Mert's
Dangerously. Yes.
Yeah, the years of living dangerously. So what are you referring to there? Yes.
Yes. Thank you. That is a great question, Lucas. And I knew people would be asking that, and I've been talking about this in interviews. So danger. What this means is that by putting myself out there publicly, like working on behalf of the light, behalf of Spirit, God, okay, that sometimes you become a target for what is not of the light. We live on a duality plane. Everything that we experience is defined by dualities. We came here to master the duality experiment on planet Earth. So light and cold, light and dark, hot and cold, masculine and feminine, spirit and matter, heaven and earth, the sacred and the sensual. The list goes on, right? So the epic battle between light and dark has been raging on this planet, and we've seen it in our world, right, for a long time, and it's been raging here for millennia, since the days of ancient Atlantis. And this epic battle, it's referred to in the Bible, which these forces, which I call anti-forces in my book, just, to make it, to not have as much of a charge, but these are the forces that aren't of the light, and I name them anti-forces. People could say dark forces. In the Bible, they're called principalities. Now, when you are publicly aligning yourself with things of the light, okay, let's say that you only want, and what that means, Lucas, is that you're embodying the truth. You're endeavoring. Okay, we're all endeavoring. We're all infinite works in progress. Endeavoring to embody the truth, to speak the truth, to show and live with kindness and compassion and a heart-centered, virtuous life. So anyone who is, who is living a heart-centered, virtuous life works on behalf of the light. Who's not doing anything to, quote, harm anyone else.
I got a question about that.
No, but we have to hold it because we have to take a quick commercial break. But have no fear. When we return, hold your question, Bert. Dana will rejoin us. You can learn more about Dana and her work at DanaMicucci.com. You'll find her book, The Years of Living Dangerously, on Amazon, wherever books are sold. We'll also have links on our website. When we come back, Dana Micucci takes us on deeper into the initiations, the upheavals, the unexpected moments of clarity that shaped her memoir, The Years of Living Dangerously. Don't worry, she's just getting started. There's more to come.
yourself. Step into a quality comfort shoe, boots, sneakers, even house slippers. Eric Comfort Shoes Long Island has it all. All sizes and widths, sizes 4 to 16, narrow, medium, wide, extra wide, and extra, extra wide. We ship it free and return in-store, online, or by phone order. Visit EricComfortShoes.com. That's EricComfortShoes.com. Or call 1-800-681-SHOE. That's 1-800-681-SHOE or 1-800-681-7463. That's 1-800-681-7463 or EricComfortShoes.com. Shoes, boots, and sneakers. All major brands including SAS, Hoka, New Balance, Echo, Riker, Piccolinos, Ara, Timberland, Dunham, Springstep, Monroe, Drew, Mephisto, Brooks, Samuel Hubbard, and much more. The lowest price guaranteed. Life is a journey. Wear comfortable shoes. 1-800-681-SHOE. 1-800-681-SHOE or 1-800-681-7463. That's 1-800-681-7463. That's 1-800-681-SHOE or EricComfortShoes.com. Home of the world's finest footwear.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate. MyPillow and MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $17.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 and the 6-pack towel set for only $39.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code JOEP or call 800-651-0798. These offers won't last long, so call 800-651-0798 or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code JOEP. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code JOEP or call 800-651-0798. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome back. We've been speaking with Dana Micucci. She's an award-winning author, spiritual teacher, and healer whose latest book, The Years of Living Dangerously, chronicles her transformative journey through sacred sites and profound energetic initiations. Drawing on decades of journalism and deep mystery school training, she blends ancient wisdom with practical insight to guide readers toward clarity, purpose, and conscious awakening. You can learn more about Dana and her work at, ready for this, DanaMicucci.com. That's DanaMicucci, Micucci.com. Am I pronouncing your last name right, Dana?
Yes, perfect, Lucas, and thank you so much for your wonderful words. I'm humbled and I appreciate it.
And you'll find her book, Years of Living Dangerously, on Amazon, wherever books are sold. Of course, we'll have the links posted on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Now, Dana, Mert wanted to ask you a question, but because we had a hard break, I had to interrupt him. Go ahead, Mert.
Well, yes, I'm very fascinated by this topic. And when the title, Living Dangerously, I'm still trying to wrap my head around, when have you lived dangerously? Do you have a personal anecdote to give people a sense of, well, before you arrived at this way of thinking. This is
Mm-hmm.
how you lived. Can you go into that? Because I'm not trying to, be rough on you or anything like that, but I just don't want people to just say, oh, she's just, preaching all positivity. People like to hear,
No.
oh, this is my...
No, not at all.
Okay, sorry. You can go
I
into...
totally
sorry.
understand, and that's a very provocative word, and I used it intentionally. So the danger, as I started to talk about earlier, Mert, refers to, we'll say, a series of test trials, initiations, and what I call near extinction events, literally, where I was almost taken out a number of times for doing what, I call this light work, publicly aligning myself with the light. And to even be clearer, Mert, it would be the Christ light. So
you're saying your faith has caused you to be persecuted? Is that what you're saying?
You could say my faith, yes. But my work, although I accept and embrace a religious path, my work is really more on an alternative path. But the Christ light is universal. And we all have the ability to access our own Christ light within ourselves, right? Which connects us to God's Spirit, the Creator. So, for example, you said, do I have any anecdotes? So when I went on a more private mission to Cabo San Lucas in Mexico, where my husband and I were guided to work with the energy of the San Andreas fault line, which was really simply to be there with our presence to consciously emanate. This is not about sending or, quote, trying or forcing something, but emanating light into the San Andreas fault line, which is a very unstable place on Earth. So having done that, spent an afternoon doing that, swimming around in the water, simply consciously opening my heart, holding and emanating light. The day after, I was almost extinguished in the post-hurricane ocean there. And I was thrown by this rogue wave very, very high in the air all the way down the beach. And my husband thought that was it, that he had lost me. And what was so miraculous is that all that happened to me, Mert, even though the beach was filled with rocks, it was almost impossible to see a sandy spot free of rocks. All that happened was I stubbed my toe. Now, I should not even be here, okay?
Now, Dana, I'm going to be honest. This sounds like some rich people having fun, and you just had a rogue wave hit you. I'm trying to get, because I don't want you to, I'm trying to, before you were married, when you were just in your infant stages as an adult, like a something that you had to overcome before your husband, something just personal to you, when you're in your 20s,
Yes, everybody goes through the dark night of the soul, Mert.
Right.
I would say this is rich people. Anybody can do this work if they're called by God to do this work. It could be in your backyard. I'm just giving you an example of where I was called to go. So, yes, before I got married, I was living alone in the big city, revolving door relationships. None of them ever worked. And I reached the age of nearly 50. Okay, I was trying to make ends meet. I could barely pay my bills as a freelance journalist. I had many, many obstacles, blockages, setbacks for whatever I wanted to try to do was always undermined, undercut by whatever. It could have been a betrayal by a friend, whatever. People, we all have these people in our lives, or by a colleague, or not a family member, but either way, there were so many, just really, it almost seemed like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is not normal. This is not natural. One blockage after another, trying to keep me down, trying to silence me. I have been prevented, for example, from going to, let's say, a national park here in the United States. Because I was leading a group of people who were doing meditations on behalf of the light. Now, you don't have to be rich to go to a national park.
Right. Now, Dana, before you keep going, I just want to give you a big hug right now, because what you just told me was very insightful into the perseverance that is taking you, because you said you were struggling up to 50 years old and you didn't give up. And that's the type of stuff that makes, like, when you say that, now I'm drawn in, because I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. She didn't find this out when she was 25 and she was still in her prime years. A lot of people think that's their prime years. Oh, she was young and she discovered this mentality then. No, you've experienced life and you reached the age of 50 and you developed this new mentality, or maybe you already had this mentality, but it has carried you in a positive direction. And I think, like, that's what I was trying to draw from you. Like, what has been the process? What does it look like? What does your life look like? And that's very insightful. So that's what I was looking for. I just want to give you a hug right now, because I'm saying to myself, there's a lot of people out there who could relate to that, you know, being in the fight until their, 50s, as you put it, and not giving up.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mert. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been, a long, hard road. It really has. And most of it was done alone. And, I traveled alone. I've always wanted a partner, and I was blessed at the age of 50 finally to find my current husband. But yes, I did keep going, and thank you so much for acknowledging that, because there were so many times that I wanted to quit, that I didn't. I knew that God's Spirit was guiding me, even as a journalist living on the edge, not wondering how I could pay my rent the next month. I would say, why are you doing this? God, what do you want of me? What do you want of me? And it would be, always the same answer. You are to bring people together. You are to create bridges between cultures and various wisdom traditions. You are a child of peace. Okay, this is actually, these words came to me in a dream, Mert, and maybe you can relate with this too. You are a child of peace, seated by the Father in the lineage of Christo, and I will never forget those words. I mean,
it's very inspirational what you're saying, because you're telling people don't give up, because there's a lot of peer pressure for women to settle down and find some man, but you found yours and you accomplished what you were set out to do. So that is the inspiration I think people want to hear right there.
Dana, yes, thank you. Well, thanks for drawing that out of me. I really appreciate it. And you're right. People want to hear that. And to also, thank you for bringing up the fact that I did go against the conventional grain of having a family and having children. And, that's a difficult choice to make for a woman, because there's so many expectations in today's society. So I was always what I call a scout, like an adventurer. And I had to follow my heart and my inner
living dangerously.
It was
That's
going
the
against
definition
the
right
grain.
there. Living dangerously.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Amen.
Yep.
Dana, it's a truly inspirational story, but unfortunately we run out of time. It was an absolute pleasure having you on the program. You can learn more about Dana and her work at danamicucci.com. That's MICUCCI.com. You'll find her book, The Years of Living Dangerously, on Amazon, wherever books are sold. And, of course, we'll have links on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Thank you, Dana. We had fun. I hope you did, too.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Lucas and Mert. It was a joy to be on your show. Thank you for all the great work you're doing in the world.
Bless you. That concludes show number 81. May I hear an amen? Amen. Special thanks to the Mertinator, Mert Roberts, my co-host. 81 amazing episodes, 162 hours of live entertainment. If you think that's easy, you try it. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes. Ashley Ferrante, our good friend Alex Garrett. My love to Gabby Pisani. Everyone, thank you. Before we go, I want to remind everybody to check out my movies, Manor of Darkness, Eerie Time Loop Horror. New York Times says it's the top 5 movie you have to stream. Check it out, Manor of Darkness. Well, my friends, Christina Cates is up next with Culinary Confidential. I love that show. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned. Join us next week. We'll have more controversial topics, more special guests just for you. Same time, same place. Ciao, ciao.
preceding program is sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
A voice for the new right, charting a new path forward for American conservatism. It's the Josh Hammer Show, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
Is this going to explode into 2020? For a while, it looked like that was not going to be the case. Increasingly, I am less confident. They're not stopping. They are being aided and abetted by willful idiot, neo-Confederate insurrectionist politicians like the coward in the Twin Cities, Tim Walz.
Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Unity Bank is dedicated to community-oriented banking and offers a full range of services, including business and personal accounts, business loans, and mortgages. Unity has locations throughout New Jersey and in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, expanding its footprint to 21 retail locations. If you're a small business owner, you know how frustrating it is to be a nobody at the big banks. You should be banking at a community bank like Unity. You can have a personal relationship with the president and CEO, my good friend Jim Hughes. Jim asks that you call him directly at 908-713-4306. 908-713-4306. Or send an email to james.hughes, Hughes, at unitybank.com, and Jim will get right back to you. You can't get this type of service at the big banks. Visit unitybank.com. FDIC insured, equal opportunity employer, and equal housing lender. Unity Bank, growing with you.
Hey, Scott Jennings here. I want to personally invite you to join me, along with my friend Mike Gallagher, for a powerful week on the Gulf of America cruise, November 14th through November 21st, 2026. That's this year. We'll cruise through crystal blue waters, visit incredible ports like Half Moon Cay and Cozumel, and enjoy the first-class hospitality of a luxury cruise ship. All week long, you'll have time with us. You'll do meet and greets, photo opportunities, Q&A sessions, and the chance to hear behind-the-scenes stories that you can't or won't here on the air. You'll also be immersed in inspiring keynote speeches and in-depth sessions as we enjoy real connection designed to strengthen your resolve as we mark the 250th anniversary of our great nation. Don't miss this. Sign up today. Look forward to cruising the Caribbean with like-minded people who care deeply about our country. Reserve your cabin today. Text CRUISE to 94878, 94878, or visit scottjenningsshow.com and click the cruise banner to sign up today.
Everything old is new again on Nostalgia Tonight with Joe Sibilia. Join Joe as he celebrates the people, places, and phenomena that shape popular culture. Sunday nights at 10 on AM 970, The Answer.
Though Phi no longer drives, he can still fly down the track. Staying fit helps Phi stay flexible in his ongoing fight with retinitis pigmentosa, a blinding retinal disease. But even when the way forward is hard to see, Phi is always hopeful, because he knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding diseases, providing real hope to those fighting vision loss. And our nationwide community of local chapters provides networking and support for people with vision loss, as well as their loved ones. Because the best way to fight against blinding diseases is to fight together. And for Phi, winning the fight against vision loss means seeing new ways to push himself. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Learn more about how you can help us